Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Reporter Telegram's Area Football Report. I'm Len Hayward here with Oscar Leroy. Well, we're getting down to it, folks. I believe that we're week 5.
Yes.
Okay. We're down to week 5 here. District play has started in some districts. We got one more week of non-district play for some teams. But tell you what, as things are getting down to the point to where games are really going to start to count, you'll start talking about playoff pictures. But right now, Oscar, I want to start off talking a little bit about that game we covered on Friday night, Kahoma at Stanton. We knew that game was going to be a defensive battle, but did you really think Stanton was going to be able to score 17 points and win that thing?
No, I predicted a 7-6 ball game, but no, a couple big plays. Tyler Fulton passes, and that was the difference in the game basically. Stanton's defense played really well, held Kahoma to, I believe, 112 total yards.
Mm-hmm.
No first downs in the first half. I mean, that's pretty impressive. But Kahoma got after it also defensively. And like I also said, both teams look like they're going to make the playoffs out of that district.
Right.
See where they finish, but I like Stanton to finish ahead of Kahoma. Of course, both still have Idalou ahead of them. Idalou's 1-3, but
Right.
don't discount that record because they played some very tough opponents.
Right.
And I still think they're the favorite in that district.
Now, where do these teams go from here? Obviously, I think you talked to both coaches today. On Tuesday, Coach Peterson over at Stanton and Coach Gardner over at Kahoma. Number one, where does Stanton go from here? They got it. They get 2 tough tests early on in Kahoma and Idalou. What's the thinking over there with Coach Peterson? How does he feel about his team?
He's feeling pretty good, but their goal is just to take one game at a time. I know that's cliche, but that's all you can do.
Right.
I mean, they know they got Idalou, and that's one of the things that Coach Peterson pointed out after Friday's game. Oh, we got Idalou.
Right.
Right. Idalou's still on everybody's mind in that district, so they're just hoping to get better and hopefully have a pretty good performance. Defensively, that's what they're hanging their hat on.
Right. And then talk a little bit about Kahoma. Where do they go from here? I mean, they you said they played well defensively, just couldn't get the ball moving. How's Coach Gardner feeling about his club?
He's still feeling pretty good. Disappointed a couple of plays here and there. They blocked one way, but then they opened another lane for the stand defenders to come through. So that's what he was most disappointed in. But he's still feeling pretty good about his team. Defensively, again, that's another team that's playing pretty well. They're not going to be that explosive on offense. They're going to run the ball, of course. But as long as they can, play ball control in that district, I think they could be successful.
Tell me, and then obviously Hawley's had some struggles this year. That's a game Kahoma could easily win, right?
Well, easily is a strong word, but if Kahoma plays well, they could really beat Hawley up pretty good.
And then what's going to happen up in Idalou?
I'm gonna have to go with Idalou on that one.
Really?
I think Stanton will play him close. It'll probably be it's kind of like a 20-17 ball game.
Right. I gotta agree with you on that one, Oscar. I think Idalou will win that one. I don't know how explosive Stanton can be offensively. If they can find some explosiveness on offense, they could be that could be a game they could definitely win. Go to Andrews this week. Pecos gets to play at Andrews. Andrews gets back on the winning track last week. Goes to the far side of the earth and plays Anthony and wins. Really, did Coach Cardell feel that was a pretty good win for his club?
Yeah, because the thing that he saw that he liked the most is that his team played with more consistency, and when they got into the red zone, they scored, and that was good to see because they hadn't been doing that in the past few weeks. But of course, their competition was a lot better.
Right.
Muleshoe and then Lovington, New Mexico. So Anthony was a good kind of feel good about yourself kind of game for the Andrews Mustangs. So they got Pecos coming in. Pecos, of course, they've kind of struggled. I believe they're 2-2, but that's a game that Andrews should win. They do the things they're supposed to do.
Should they win it handily? I mean, or could it be closer than?
I think Pecos could hang with them within 14, but I think Andrews could still win that game.
I like Andrews in this one. Then we're go to a big game out at J.M. King Memorial Stadium on Friday. Big Spring at Greenwood. Big Spring coming off a nice win against Midland Christian. Come from behind to do it. Greenwood coming off a game I'm not quite sure they really want to remember. Playing Sweetwater and really what's the feeling in Greenwood right now? Was Sweetwater that good, or did they just kind of not play as well as they had been?
Both.
Really?
Both. I mean, they just didn't do the things that they had been doing in the past. They couldn't run the ball. That's a big key to their offense. Even though they're a spread team, Coach Shad Hanna wants his team to be 50-50. They couldn't run the ball passing wise. They kind of struggled. They had to go to the They had to be one-dimensional against Sweetwater. But Sweetwater is also a much improved team. And then going to Sweetwater, that's always been a tough place to play. It doesn't matter if Greenwood's, a powerhouse or they're down, but that's always a tough place for Greenwood in the past.
Right. It's a tough place for anybody to go play, whatever.
Yeah,
it's not one of the nicer.
I don't even like that stadium, so I make no bones about it. It makes me uncomfortable.
What's their quarterback situation? What's going to happen this week with the signal caller?
Well, Jesse Madrid will get another start.
Okay.
Caden is still, he's slowly getting back. He's not sure whether he's going to play some this week, but if he does play, he'll only play some on defense. So he's not ready to throw the ball yet. So Jesse we'll get the call again under center, or in the shotgun formation, I guess. Cam Williams is still battling a broken finger, so
he's still playing though.
He's
right?
still playing. He played some defense. I think he had like 6 tackles against Sweetwater, so he's still playing safety. He just can't throw the ball. That's why gripping and throwing the ball. That's the problem because this isn't his throwing hand.
So are we looking at a situation when Greenwood opens up with district play next week against Seminole? Are we looking at a situation where Jesse Madrid still could be playing quarterback for him?
It's a possibility. It just depends what happened with Cam and Caden over the next week and a half, and that'll determine whether Jesse or not gets the start. But as right now, Jesse Madrid will get another start.
On the Big Spring side of things, had a big comeback last week. They fell behind. I think it was 30-13, or was it 30-14 at one point in time. Actually, at halftime, came back, scored 3 unanswered touchdowns in the second half. Boy, how's Coach Ritchie feeling? I mean, they faced some adversity. I know against Monahans, he felt like they didn't play as well as they could have. This week, it seems like they did. Where does Coach Ritchie kind of feel this win was for his team this year?
Big. He said it could be a season changer for his team. That first half was pretty much a carryover from the Monahans game. Whatever they were doing wrong against Monahans just carried into that first half, where Miller Christian did everything right. Then the second half, complete turnaround. Big Spring's defense holds Miller Christian 22 yards rushing.
That's unheard of.
That's unheard of, especially with the talent. Even though Hunter Redmond's out, they're still pretty good enough back there with Christian Wiggin.
They got a good offensive line.
Plus the offensive line to hold that caliber of team to 22 yards rushing in the second half is pretty impressive. It's just they played out of this world in the second half, and then they did enough offensively. They had some big plays, and they just did enough to win that game in the second half.
Tell me what's going to happen Friday. I mean, is this a game that's going to come down to defenses?
Yeah, it very much could, because I think Big Spring's going in with all the momentum right now.
Right.
But Greenwood's going to be playing with their backs against the wall, and they're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. They look like pretty awful. Won the game, and all of a sudden they bounce back when nobody expects them to, and that's kind of like the Greenwood offense. And playing at home, Greenwood always plays better at home than they do on the road. It's just I don't know if it's a combination of fans or maybe the grass that they play on. I don't know. It's just probably they're comfortable at home. So, and I think Greenwood's going to come out fired up.
Well,
it's going to be a good game.
Who's going to win?
I might have to go with Big Spring on this one. It's just because of their overall athleticism and offensive line. I think it's going to be a big factor. It might be 24-17.
I like Big Spring in this one as well. I think I kind of like. I was thinking about that same score as well, 24-17, Big Spring. I think this is a game that Big Spring has the opportunity to kind of jumpstart their season a little bit. But the one thing about Greenwood, and you've mentioned this a number of times before, they play with a lot of guts, and they seem to be playing with a lot of guts this year. And did Coach Hanna see a little bit of that last week, that they still played with some guts, or did they kind of fall back a little bit?
No, they fell back a little bit. It was a disappointing loss, and I asked him, well, was it similar to the Estacado game where, they also got beat up pretty good? And he said, no, Estacado was, there's some things we did well in that game, and Estacado was just that good. We just didn't, we just didn't do anything well against Sweetwater.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the game. That'll be a very good game. Very good game. Both the 5As are off this week, so if you want to go see a game, there's a bunch of games to go see this weekend. That is one to go see between Big Spring and Greenwood out there at JMP Memorial Stadium in Southeast Midland County. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here on the 3-5A Football Report. I'm Len Hayward. That's Austin Leroy. Thank you very much.